unhappy, but she's all right. She's doing all
Back home.
right. She's all good now.
Do we have a quorum, Abby, or are we
So
missing?
we have
8
Phillips,
4+1.
Nelson, Winters.
Yeah, we have 5.
Holmes and Novak, which is 5. We recently learned that Regal needs to resign her appointment to the committee. She passed along her regrets. She's got a lot going on and she doesn't feel like she has the time to give it that she needs, so she wouldn't be counted toward the quorum requirements. So, that being said, our members who are absent, Lutke and Olson, both wrote me that they would not be available, and Katukam is also absent this evening. We do have a quorum.
All right, well, let's get started then. So let's start then with the approval of minutes. Anyone have any changes or questions or any wanna say? No? You can just, so then,
Yeah.
check. Let's move on to the first agenda item, which is the Public Art Master Plan Addendum. Do we have anything to do on that this time?
Nope.
All right, so then we can move on to Art Walk. I'm sorry Jolene's not here, but I'm sure Katie can speak of the after party that we've been talking about. I'll start out by giving us a update on just general. So we're in a pretty good place right now. We have 12 artists signed up so far. We have all the music booked. We have all the food trucks and all the demonstrators booked. We are kind of just waiting to do the advertising because we're not really there yet. I'm about to send out a press release with a call of artists, and we'll put that on our social media on the Art Walk page. And so I think we're pretty well have things in order right now. We are meeting again next Friday. And one of the new things that we're doing is a kids corner. And Elizabeth, actually, if Jessica is not going to be part of that group anymore, you can join us for our meetings now because we would have had a quorum otherwise if we had included you. So if you want to come, then we'll start inviting you because I know you're heading up the kids corner.
Yep.
So
Easy part is it's a Zoom meeting.
yeah,
Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's at
next Friday.
lunchtime on Fridays typically.
Okay, so I'm gonna be substitute teaching. It might be hard for me to
Okay.
be at that meeting.
We could
but-
always schedule at a different time, one of the meetings too, so that you could come in, kind of give us an update. But if you want to update us tonight on what you've been doing with that, then we can do that as well. So that is one of the new things that we have going on. And we have an additional food truck this year. We have 5. And let's see what else.
You have Facebook event set up already?
I do not yet. I don't think Abby, has anyone set up an event?
Okay, I'm gonna look really quick because I can't remember.
I don't think so, but it's possible.
Did you guys select an artist for the promotional materials?
We did receive one application, which I tried to email to you, but it bounced back.
Okay.
So we have an application, one person has applied with 3 pieces of art.
Okay,
I just need to figure out how to get them to you.
For the-
I can send you a link.
For the ads?
For the
for the
promotional.
promotions, we
Yes.
had a call for artists for promotional artists, but we didn't get hardly any response.
Okay.
But what Katie was gonna say was she was gonna talk about the promotional materials at the festival, so we'll get on to that in a second, and that's what those t-shirts are for
Wait.
merchandising.
Explain to me the difference.
This is the one that we use on all of our marketing materials. And last year it was the necklace.
Uh-huh.
Year before that was Erin.
Mhm.
We've been using Erin's art because we didn't have one. The deadline for it was the 31st of
December.
December, right?
But then they get a free booth.
Right, but and we've got this now.
Yes, but that is for I thought that was for we didn't know if we were gonna have anyone for, that applied.
Right.
So we were using that as a backup if we did not get applications. So I don't know what this artist looks like.
Gotcha.
But that was the stuff I thought we were gonna, that was the image I thought we were gonna use for the t-shirts and
Right.
stickers.
I thought
that'd
we
be
were gonna try to
cute.
keep it in a one
Consistent.
theme, consistent poster.
Is he gonna have a booth or she? He
Yeah,
or she?
he wrote a,
Oh, okay,
he
Will he
showed
selling?
last year. He
Okay.
has a double booth
okay.
and
I'm not sure how we handle this because at that point, when we talked about this last time at our December meeting, we didn't have any applications.
right.
And so we needed to let that run out.
Gotcha.
So maybe we choose between his and the,
Fair. And Sebastian,
Mhm.
sorry, not privy to this. I don't know if you can see
Oh,
this.
yeah, let me see. Hold on. Oh, okay. All
A
right.
sunflower with a frog hanging off of it, and it's Rhoda Orion's piece. He paints it
Oh, yeah.
on glass or acrylic.
Hmm.
Yeah, that looks neat.
You got to see it either.
so let's step back for a second. here.
Yeah.
In our art walk meetings, we've been discussing what we were gonna do for marketing materials. And so we had come up with the idea of asking Broda to do something for our t-shirts and our stickers and whatever other merchandise we sell. But then, as I said, we didn't know if we were gonna get any applicants for the promotional art. And so we were thinking we would use Broda's stuff as well. So now that we have one, we have to consider them both.
Would he still get, he would still get a free booth for the.
Yeah,
for
we
using
we
our
would still
t-shirts and
use him
stuff,
for
right?
the other stuff.
So then I think
And-
it's fair. Should we, can we pull up the other person who applied right now?
Yes. How can I get on my SharePoint? I never know. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I can join my own Zoom and then share it from here.
It's too big of a pain. We can always do it later, but.
Actually, I have another idea. I'm gonna stop share for a second on here because I just sent it in an email to Michelle as a link, so I'm wondering if I could just click the link that I sent her.
I haven't checked my email lately yet, so I don't think I got it.
I only have to remember my password. I got this, guys. Don't worry.
Katie, do you want these shirts?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
I did get them. Well. Maybe not.
Too much to remember.
Okay, so that's not gonna work.
Download it.
Let me,
Okay. Well, I don't want to cause a delay.
I think I can see if I'm able to join the meeting from here and just share it. I think I can do that.
Well, we can
So
continue.
basically for the format of like the ads, I'll have to edit that image. I'll probably have to edit whatever image it is, just because it needs to be like most of my horizontal format. But what I could do with like that one is we could expand the backgrounds, like that grayish texture. So it could like, and then like the frog could be on one side.
Oh, that's,
Then we might have like a gradient to just kind of darken
and
it.
so how do you want to receive that file?
Either JPEG or a PNG. or-
Okay.
I mean, the high res of that, if he has a PSD file. Just ask him what did he painted it, so he took a picture of it. That's what you were showing us, is a picture of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it high res? JPEG.
Well, we were on this topic of marketing materials, merchandising materials. We need to figure out how we're going to be able to accept payment. Because we had issues accepting payments during Giving Tuesday. And so we need to figure out a way that we're going to be able to take credit cards. So that is something we need to think about too. And we've been talking about that in our art walk meetings. So are these oh, it's Simona.
Oh, those are nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like the heart.
Me too. Stands out beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Can you double click on those to make it larger?
Yes, I just have to remember which mouse to use.
Nice.
And that's someone who's already going to be showing.
Is she, has she some, I assume
She hasn't yet, but I saw her at the gallery night. She told me she was planning on doing it. So she's done it the last 2 years.
Yes. So she's the pressed plant material. Let me share the second one.
One might not work as well
Mm-mm.
for the advertising. I think the heart or the frog could work.
And third one.
That could be actually kind of interesting as a background,
I
So-
definitely like the heart.
but it's
the
kind of
best.
busy. Yeah, you kind of want something to grab your attention. So
I know these flowers, those are passion flowers. I've drawn them myself,
Yes, and yep,
they're beautiful.
labeled them.
But I agree that the heart's very striking.
Want to see the heart again?
Are we okay with using Simona's heart on the advertising and then using Rhoda's stuff for our merchandising the day of?
fine with that.
The materials, would it go on poster?
Can you
Poster, advertising.
Sure. Should we look at them together?
It goes on our signage.
Were you the one that
As I
emailed
get-
it, Katie?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying about like keeping things consistent and then like just from the next year's.
The only reason
do the
I,
Same thing. with
the
the
only
next-
reason I say that is like, just sort of copying the art fair on the square. They pick one image for that whole year and it's promotional materials and merchandise.
I would be okay with that generally speaking, except for we did have a call for artists out for a
Fair enough.
couple months, and so, I mean, that. I just really. Maybe next year we,
Did neither of them make the deadline though?
I think Simona did. Forgot what the deadline was.
we also talked about in our art walk meetings. Using whatever t-shirts, not putting a date on the t-shirt and using it from year to year. So I think in light of that, I'm less concerned about the consistency. If we're gonna have multiple designs of t-shirts from year to year anyway, but I do think, I agree with Katie that we need to next year be more organized on this and we heavily publicized the call for artists for the promotional materials and we just didn't get hardly, well, we got Simona is all, so. Maybe next year what we do is we pick an artist and we ask them to do. Ask them if they're interested in doing
Yeah,
the
that's
graphics.
kind of what I made.
Yeah. So. I'm not sure what to do here.
Yeah, I mean, like
I'm
personally,
fine.
I think the frog would call more attention, like in a newspaper ad, than the heart would, like it would stand out more. Um,
I think you should make your selection based on what you think would look better on the poster. That's the number one top priority, so. That's,
Well, I do think, I mean, I'm not sure what to say because we did have a deadline on it and Simona met the deadline or did not meet the deadline?
what was the deadline?
The
December
31st of December.
Stand it.
Zooming in and out.
I didn't even know we had that technology, so.
I guess just when I think about the zebra that we used a couple years ago, it was like so eye-catching, you know, and everything was cohesive. And so then when you see the ad or you see the poster, you immediately know like it's the art walk. So then I get like a little worried if we have like a heart on the ad, but then we have the frog on the other things.
So is that the same?
But
Yeah, like
okay,
it's
wait a
two
second,
dis-
wait. So we're talking about merchandising for the frog, not advertising of any kind. So it would not be on the
Oh, that's
signs
true.
the day of. It would not be on anything like that. It would just be on t-shirts, stickers, whatever we decide to put it on to sell. I am not by any means suggesting we go back and forth. That's a bad idea.
Okay.
But I do think, we have locked in Broda for doing a t-shirt design, and so we need to, at very least, have him continue to do that.
Mhm.
But I also, I mean, I don't know what,
We also
She
asked
submitted
about-
hers on 12/31. Right.
okay, so she did make the deadline.
What, are we paying Rhoda?
Mhm.
As long as they're being compensated.
He's being compensated, yes. He's getting what, a booth space, and then he's getting space in his booth for his friend to perform music. What else, Katie? Did we
Hang on a
decide?
sec. Um,
And then Simona would, if we chose Simona for the advertising materials, then she would also get a free booth space because that's what we've extended in the past for that.
Yeah, and at present.
we are giving Broda $150 plus 2 adult t-shirts and 2 kids t-shirts for his family.
And then he's getting free
And
booth
he's getting
space.
double booth because he's also doing a demo with music.
Right,
And
so he's being compensated for it, yes.
yeah, and so Simona hasn't applied yet, so she wouldn't have paid at this point.
Well, I don't think that matters because we had not made that stipulation and we didn't make that stipulation in previous years.
And do we pay her for this image?
She gets a free booth space.
And, okay. And whether she takes that or not is up to her.
Yeah. I'm sure she will be coming this year. I don't doubt that. Unless something happens to prevent it. So. I don't know. We certainly
Do you want to vote on something?
are in a, yes, let's take it.
Do we need to vote on it at this meeting or could we vote on it next meeting?
We can, we can put it on the agenda next meeting to. have a-
Or
Because my
if you-
thought-
if the committee's meeting, the working group, you could just decide at your.
What,
My thought was that I could take both of the images and put them in the ad and see which one works better. And I could present it at the next meeting.
Be nice.
that's a good idea. Okay, but we need to decide, we may need to make a decision. So what did you suggest, Abby? I couldn't hear you.
I was wondering if instead of waiting for the next full arts committee meeting, if your working group is meeting next Friday, then that seems like an administrative
Yes,
task that y'all
we
could.
could certainly talk about it in our art walk group. if you want to do that and see. I don't care either way, although I just don't want,
If you're available, we don't have a quorum if you want to join.
No, I don't want to join, but I can, if you guys send me the images, I can
Okay.
put them in the ads.
Okay.
And then I'll send them to you guys. You can look at them at the next meeting and decide which one works best.
yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm sending you the images now, Meg.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
How quickly you declined it.
I learned that event planning is not my favorite thing ever.
Just be glad she's doing the marketing stuff this year. I know I am, because I had to do it last year.
Okay, so we don't need to vote or make a motion on anything for the art walk.
I have a question for Abby, and I don't know if this is the appropriate person to ask, but I wondered if we have a budget for the merchandise. How much money can we spend on t-shirts and stickers or tote bags or anything?
I think that would be at the committee's discretion. Let me see if I can pull up if we've started filling in the budget for the 2024 event in our Google Doc yet. I'm not sure if we've touched that tab yet at all.
No, and
It might,
Aaron,
if it's highlighted, that means it's just left over from last year at this point, but it still might be informative, so let me pull it up here.
I was just looking at it and nothing's been updated, and Erin is doing the demonstrations, and so she's the one who will have that information. We do have 2 ads that we won't be placing this year because Middleton Review will not be doing the same format, so we won't have an ad with them. And then the what was the other one? The art fair.
Oh, yeah. The art fair guide? Is that
Yeah,
what it's called Midwest Art Fair.
Midwest Art Fair Guide. They're no longer publishing. And so
believe
we can
those.
take both of those and move that budget elsewhere. We may want to do radio ads, or we may want to reallocate it somewhere else, or more to Facebook and Instagram. We don't have an Instagram account, I don't think, but more to social media. So I don't know how we want to handle that, but I do know that those 2 we will not be including this year in the budget. The musicians are gonna be a little bit more this year. And none of the food trucks are requiring a deposit or anything of that nature this year, so we don't have to worry about that expense.
Did you have an amount in mind that would be appropriate for the t-shirts?
No, it will just help us when we're
Planning.
deciding on ordering numbers.
How much are the shirts a piece?
The white 100% cotton is the cheapest one.
Favorite one?
I always like the most expensive thing, and it never fails. It it just felt kind of scratchy.
I like to sleep.
Yeah,
in
I
them.
know those have to be washed a couple times, but,
Mhm.
oh, okay, so the cotton ones are about $12.50 each. And I think the other ones were like not far from there, just a little bit more, $13 each.
So there's not a huge difference.
And that was for 4-color both sides, and we're not doing the back side anymore, because we're not doing advertisers.
Yeah, and I actually
So it'll
think
be less.
I redesigned, oh wait, this is for the frog, never mind. Sorry. I think-
Yeah, it'll just have the front image.
So if we just think $12 as our high mark, or I think any of them, since we're not gonna.
Is there a minimum order?
Nope.
And we can mix and match if we wanted to do.
Yes,
some-
ma'am, we could do
Some gray ones.
some for Abby, some
Yeah.
for Megan.
Okay,
We can
cause
do
I
some
know,
sweatshirts, we can do some kids.
okay. And I have a place where I've ordered stickers before for other
Mhm.
things that are pretty reasonable, so I can for stickers once we land on artwork?
The,
Once Meg gets,
Think at the name.
How pretty that forest
Does stickers. They also do stickers.
do?
And the cheaper ones were the die cut ones, believe it or not.
yeah.
Well, the idea is you would have an upcharge, a little bit of an upcharge from what we pay and then,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
So,
We would double that likely, like a t-shirt would probably be, I would say $25.
mhm.
I don't know if stickers, what the price is, but again, we would probably around double the wholesale cost.
So I think in terms of the budget, you could use the non-lapsing fund, so I don't think that there's like a maximum amount. It would be more about deciding how many you think is reasonable.
And how many can you sell?
And I think kids ones would be popular. I would recommend that you do include some of those, especially, I mean, I guess it depends on the design.
Especially with the kids' corner this year, we might get more kids there,
Yeah.
so.
Mhm.
Is it gonna say art walk on it?
I think it's good to have a
Well, I think
mix.
that we have to have you do that.
Like the logo or,
Mhm.
okay.
I think it should say Middleton Art Walk.
Yeah, it should say.
Yeah,
art walk.
I figured that we would have, Meg put that.
Yep.
On.
Okay.
I told Rhoda that.
Oh, year.
Well, that can be added in design.
Yep.
So. Okay, or Illustrator, whatever.
Yep.
So once we've. We know for sure that Rhoda's gonna be doing the t-shirts, so we can go ahead and move forward with that and the stickers and. While we're. Making a decision on the. Advertising artwork.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, so then, who would like to go next? The next pieces would be the Kids Corner update and the DJ Sparkle.
Well, I don't have
What's
any
what are your,
information yet on the kids corner because I've been teaching when the
Oh, so
meetings
you
happen.
haven't
I haven't
done-
been to a single meeting yet, so I need to talk to Erin and find out all about what we're doing. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Is Erin working with you on that?
yes, I think so.
Okay. s-
So far, the tab only says face painting.
For the kids corner.
Mhm.
Okay. So I
Um,
need to find out.
I know Erin is spread really thin and cookie season's starting, so.
She's out of town right now too.
Yeah, so when she gets back, I mean, I would email her because. Once cookie season starts, it's really hard to get her pinned down to do stuff.
I have an idea that kind of
Mhm.
could,
Yes.
meld with Kids Corner.
Well, yes, and we talked about this. We want to do a harmonica demonstration. That was one of the things we talked about, right, Katie?
Right. That's
For
one of the-
Kids Corner?
Eric was gonna do.
That, yeah, for the Kids
harmonicas,
Corner.
And then Eric
Yeah.
is also going to be our first musician of the day. I have the schedule set out for.
Oh, good, okay.
So we have 3 bands and he will be the first, then we will have Blue Spruce playing in the middle, and then we'll have some assembly required.
We need to then talk about whether we pay for some harmonicas to give out. to
Yeah,
kids,
and
or
that's what
he
we'll
does.
talk about in our subcommittee
Mhm.
meeting.
Right.
Because we'll.
But
need to
basically
set a
what
budget.
he does is he hands out as many harmonicas as
Oh,
there are kids, and then he gives them a little lesson, and then he plays a song with them.
Yeah, so we'll
That's neat.
designate some time for him, specifically for that, and all this will be on our program the day of too, so we'll have everything listed. So we have face painting, we have harmonicas, we talked about trying to get a balloon twister. And I don't think that the one that Erin contacted was not available, but I was thinking that we could try to get another one, but again, Erin hasn't been to any of the meetings recently, and so I'm not exactly sure, or she wasn't at the last one, so I'm not exactly sure if she's got something else in mind for that or not.
and I thought my role was gonna be to help with some hands-on projects for kids. Is that?
Yeah, and that's
Right.
one of the things I wanted to add.
Yes, and so who's gonna develop the projects? Is that gonna be you, Elizabeth, or?
I will talk to Erin about what we've done in the past and see.
So we're hoping to do, because so this kind of bleeds into the after party. we were hoping to do a bubble party with the DJ and make your own bubble wands. So bubble wands could be made at the kids' corner.
Oh, yeah.
And they
Yeah, we could
try
do 'em
like a
both.
little demo.
We would have to do them at both because
Yeah,
The-
absolutely.
because the after party doesn't start till 5:30. Is that right?
Start whenever we want.
And
say
so,
5.
because we'll have to get the artists off the street and get all of that
Mm.
taken care of, so. Yes, we could do the wands at both places.
'Cause I think that would be incentive to come
To
back.
come to the
there.
party, yeah. And we need to be advertising that as well. On all of our advertising materials, that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a tab for after party. I'll put it after music. Now, what time did you say the after party is going to be? 5:30?
I think 5:30, isn't that what we discussed?
Sure, it
Or
could be
6.
5:30 till 8 or 5:30 to 7 or whatever.
So why don't you talk about the after party first, and
So the-
kind of fill
the-
everybody in?
The vision is, since it's gonna be too light out to do a glow party, we decided, it would be called something like Bubbles and Beats, or, you know, something like that. Just dancing and bubbles. We would have a bubble machine or two. We'll have a balloon tower that will be like a selfie station. You know how you can make, not an arch, but like a up thing. I found cheap, clear balloons that are perfectly round. They're not the balloon shape. They're like a bubble shape. And then we'll have like containers, either kiddie pools or big plastic tubs with bubble solution in them with some pre-placed wands, but then the kiddos can make their own wands. And then we decided to not spend money on a DJ. Instead, I'm the DJ. There's a stand-up comic who says never let the 50-year-old woman arrange the DJ. So, yeah, so I'm DJ Bubblicious and
Oh my gosh.
Jolene is
MC Sparkle?
MC Sparkle.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah, I
my
think that's what
gosh.
she's calling herself.
Cute.
Yeah,
Were you
guys are
doing the
having way too
body
much fun
paint
with this.
too?
we're not doing the body paint.
Okay,
Pardon?
You have way too much fun with this.
We're having a ton of fun with this.
You're right, this is the fun committee.
Yeah, so yeah, we're already planning our DJ costumes, but basically it's just gonna be a playlist. And I've already started working on it. So it's a mix of little kids' music and stuff that the parents are gonna wanna go out and dance to.
Fun. Love it.
And we'll just need a microphone or two so we can banter
Mhm.
and encourage everybody to get out and dance.
Okay, just as a side note, if you have funds for it, since I have children, the best bubble wands are the ones that they have like, there
Yeah.
are 2 things and
And
there's
then
like
you
the
open them up.
string
Yeah.
Yes,
between them. Yes, you have to get some of those because they're amazing. They make giant bubbles.
they're
So
awesome,
fun.
but my mom used to teach a class and she would make her own out of like t-shirt materials and just make a loop of fabric
Okay,
and they work the same way.
okay,
And you just open the loops.
okay, so that's what you're planning to make? Or
Yeah.
have like.
We'll have
materials
those
there?
on hand,
Okay.
but you know, Jolene's vision for the kids to do their own would be like pipe cleaners and sparkly stickers and stuff.
Cool.
will that work?
Yeah, will that work? Cause I feel like I've
We'll
tried
have
so
to
many of
test
those
it.
and then you
We'll
get like.
test it.
I think you
get
can buy
frustrated when
those
you, like,
things in
make
bulk.
it
Yeah.
and it doesn't work.
You can buy bubble
Definitely need
wands
to
in
test.
bulk too, like
Yeah.
you can have a variety of bubble.
Yeah, I feel like we should have a variety. We could get some cheap, like those little bottles, you know, that have the little oblong
Oh, yep, yep,
rods.
yep. Mhm.
And just have an assortment. People can just pick them up and I just want bubbles constantly.
I think it'd be fun. Yeah, that's cute.
And it's then not much work. We're gassed at the end of the day after this art walk.
Mhm.
And so it's just goofing off.
Mhm.
We'll literally dump the bubble solution out after the end of the night and call it good.
It doesn't kill the grass.
Well,
Well, maybe it goes down under the fire pit.
Yeah, we can find it. It'll be okay.
we
That
will-
sounds like a really good, I feel like I should tip the tourism department off, cause they're always looking for photo shoot locations, and that would be such a cool photo shoot spot.
It'll be
Yeah.
really cute.
So is this right at Stonehorse Green?
This is at Stonehorse Green. I apologize. Yeah. So we're just
Figured.
telling people all day long.
Mhm.
Maybe that would be a cute place to have, we don't want to ruin any art, but maybe at the beginning,
Mhm.
have one of our little bubble machines going and tell people come to dance.
maybe we
with us
put the
tonight.
bubble machine, where people walk down to downtown with a little sign that says, join us for our bubble party.
Mhm.
At 5:30 in Stonehorse Green.
Yeah.
or Something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like 8's a long time. Do you feel like
Yeah,
5:30 to
that's
7 is good?
I can't remember what was the summer fun hours back in the
5:30 to
day.
7:30.
Should probably do like the same. I'd have to look at the. post.
Oh, summer fun?
Yeah, when it first started during the
I can
pandemic.
find that.
Now I think it's longer, but, well, I think now it just depends on when the band wants to play. That was a lot of fun.
So if Kids Corner doesn't feel up to doing work at the art fair, art walk, and coming over and help, if that's just too much, we can easily just have the wands there, all the cloth wands,
Mhm.
all the little, it doesn't have to be another make your own anything at the dance party.
Mhm.
I think what we'll need to do is, what I think I'll do is just put this on the same, Sign Up Genius as the art walk. And rather than making a separate one for it, I think it'll get more attention that way. What do you guys think?
Mhm.
Totally agree.
I agree. Make it easy.
Link the two.
All right, and then once again, we can advertise those on or the party on our advertising that we place in general.
Right.
Where do we get a lot of our volunteers the past few years?
Just here and there, just we've been advertising for volunteers and asking for volunteers and our significant others volunteer and.
Yeah,
And we
and
volunteer ourselves and
I'm gonna pressure the council members.
Well, yeah, we did have. a
kids
lot of
volunteer,
volunteers.
kids of members volunteer. Aaron's daughter loves.
And the
art
high
walk
school
loves
students.
volunteers.
Amazing.
I was gonna ask, cause I know at the, like the city of Middleton events where we had an art. And we did art activities, they had the Key Club come and it was lovely, all those high school students volunteered.
We do give the high school art class a booth to sell their wares. And then in exchange, they give us volunteers. They trade off with volunteers because they need volunteer hours.
Okay.
And so that's worked out well the last couple of years. So we'll do that again this year as well. But yes, we can certainly add the Key Club, the more the merrier.
I don't know if we put a like start to end on anything. I think we just put a start.
Yeah, I think those were all just.
Let's just do
they all
5:30 to
vary.
7. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
fine.
And they really should be at the same time, right? Like consistency for, yeah.
So people can remember.
We'll also encourage people, of course, to get beverages and food and bring it to the green.
Sounds good.
We can put that on the advertising as well. What else, Katie, that you can think?
I think. Oh, I wondered if we should ask the dance schools to have
Right.
their kids come and seed the crowd.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
So that there's a lot of kids and they're wanting to dance and that kind of encourages
Yeah.
the crowd
Oh, for the bubbles and
for the
beads.
bubbles and beats.
I wonder, the Ballet Academy's been wanting to do something. I wonder if some of their kids would want to come out and dance, not necessarily ballet, but like Katie said, lead
Not to perform.
dancing and, yeah, just
Just-
like,
They're the cool dancing kids.
My daughter dances at Vibe, so I could definitely like
Oh, yeah, tell her to spread the
email them
word.
or bring a poster in.
Tell her the
or-
DJ's amaze balls.
Okay. Anything else on Art Walk?
Yeah, one other thing is the payment system. I think you already
Yeah,
mentioned that.
yeah,
Yes.
and that's something that, I think we have on our agenda, don't
Okay, so that's it
Nope,
for.
we have website and
for
social media.
My end.
But that's something that needs to be worked out with the city. The city's
Yeah.
gonna figure out a way to allow us to do that. And I don't know, would the city be opposed if we used our own personal Venmo and then just gave the city the money from it?
Thought that the option that our city clerk came up with was using what's it called? Bill pay or fee pay? I can't remember. Fee pay is the school district one, right?
Bill pay didn't work though, I thought during Giving Tuesday.
No, so bill pay would work. She would set up a separate dedicated account line with our vendor for the art walk. And then I think she said that as long as we have cell service
Okay.
down there, that it would work. I don't know if it's gonna be like super user friendly, like where you can, like scan your Venmo like QR or
Yeah,
tap to pay, like people are kind of used to these days. I'm not sure if it's gonna be quite that user friendly. Would you want me to set up a Zoom with you and me and Lori and we can talk through how it would look and like function and work and we can.
Yeah,
see
I
if
think
it
that's
seems
a good
good
idea.
fit? Okay.
because we really need to get it straightened out so that we can start taking donations. I mean,
And then, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the fundraising goal we wondered about and what's it for? Is all the money going toward public art for Middleton?
all the money for the fundraisers at Art Walk, go back into Art Walk.
Oh, I thought it went to the Middleton Youth Center.
Oh, I see, for the auction?
Or the sale of t-shirts just goes.
I would
back
think
into
that would
Art
go
Walk?
back into our Art Walk fund,
Auction goes to,
the youth center art projects.
And we do, I know is Jolene running the auction again?
Yes.
yeah,
We do have 2 people who have told us what they're donating and we have images.
Okay, good.
Remember, we changed it in the acceptance letter to ask for
Right.
that up front.
Yep, okay, good. That's good news. Yes, so. What else?
that's it for me.
I can't think of anything else for Art Walk. We have been making great progress. Before the holidays, we were meeting like every week or every 2 weeks, and so we really have been hammering away at it. And like I said, I feel like we're in a good place with it right now, so. And, we should make sure that Elizabeth is in on our email loops, even if she can't come to the meeting, and make sure that we're inviting her in the event that you're not subbing that day and you might be able to come, or we can, like I said, we might be able to do like an evening one when you would be available, and then we can kind of figure out more what is going on with the kids' work.
Elizabeth, do you have access to this Google sheet?
No,
Okay, I will also send you this.
okay.
Good thinking, Abby.
Can I ask one last question?
Sure.
I'm on an ad hoc committee that is trying to put together a Pride event, first Middleton Pride event ever. And they were wondering if they could have a table at the Art Walk or advertise somehow, because it's going to be the next month.
The only tabling we've allowed to this point is if it's a demonstrator or if it is someone who has made a sponsorship.
Okay, that's fine, because Mayor Kuhn is probably gonna be showing, and she said if the table idea didn't go, then she would put stuff at her booth about.
But
the
that's
event.
fine if she wants to include.
So we'll do that. Okay,
Okay,
now I'm really done.
okay, all right. So since we are done discussing Art Walk, let's move on to the RFQs for the trailhead sculpture.
We still haven't heard anything back from the DNR.
Meg, what's going on with the RFQ process? I thought we decided that we were gonna go ahead with that and then we were gonna use an alternate space if we if the DOT would not allow us to put the sculpture.
Yes, I believe that that was the plan. Although I'm really hoping that that spot is available. And I do believe that it says that in there. It says it on, I believe, page 4 of 5, that we have we reserve the right to relocate the project. Oh, funds, sorry. It's funds. I feel like it's in there somewhere. I just read this today, so. Do you remember, Abby, is that in here that can make it relocated?
Didn't think it was, but
Okay,
could be wrong.
okay. So can we put the RFQ out there if the project is going to be relocated? Because it has the location shown, so. I don't know how that would work.
Where would you?
Oh, we had talked about over by Robert Pond, I thought. I distinctly recall this discussion in November. And I thought that we had decided that we would. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought we decided we were going to put some alternate language in there in case we needed to relocate the sculpture, but maybe that I am wrong about that.
I think we were waiting to hear back from the
Yeah,
DOT.
the what I thought, I know Jolene had suggested Graber. And we talked about a couple other ideas that are within the TIP district. But, I mean, we can add that and send it out.
Well, I thought the DOT, we thought was gonna take a long time to get back.
Oh, yeah, it has to go through every department. It has to get approved by every
Um,
department.
Is there another place over in that general
Yeah,
area
I
that
thought
we
the
wouldn't have
art's
to?
fine. I would love to keep it in that area.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Graber Pond idea. I mean, if you guys all outvote me, that's fine. It's just like, I went and hiked
No.
it the other day and it's like out in the middle of, like, there's like nothing over there. It's like,
Yeah.
so, I don't know, maybe it's gonna get
Well,
built
there'll
up.
be
more
stuff
built up.
out there.
Well, Red Tail Ridge is like on the other side, so it's not near Red Tail Ridge
Well,
where they want.
is there a place on? The mayor, I talked with the mayor a couple weeks ago and she had suggested that we might put something near the fire department. And I know that we've talked about that before. But much of that is also owned by the DOT, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think that's too.
It would have to go on the city's property if we did something like that. What about one of the parks?
Yeah, we talked about
What other
Lakeview.
parks are in that TIF?
Lakeview for sure. And the Creek corridor.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. Oy. Sorry, Sebastian. So, the city's municipal operations center, the land north of Tribeca that's for sale, this is Tribeca. This is where Bell Farm neighborhood is getting developed. This is just some wetland area that we included in case the city decided to make stormwater improvements there. A lot of the land between Highway 12 and Parmenter Street with some chunks cut out. And then the Parmenter and Lee Street area, and then following along the Creek corridor, Pheasant Branch Conservancy and Tree Way, the intersection of Century and Allen Boulevard, and then most of both sides of Allen Boulevard, Conservancy, city-owned Conservancy land on the east, and then we snaked it through this parcel on Lakeview Park and here to get to the intersection of Branch and University and pick up some properties.
That was another spot we talked about where that M is.
Oh, I think that's gonna be a little bit more trouble than
I know,
we
but
can do
Abby,
right now.
The development.
Cause this is supposed to be done this year. So I'm like
going in at
worried about,
Century,
we gotta get this.
That
out.
is,
We already rolled
isn't
for
that,
1 year.
aren't they already putting sculptures in there?
So I feel like. we should make it
The
easy.
one, the Middleton Shores, or
Like, I don't
The
wanna
one,
delay it
the
anymore.
one at Century on the north side, but
But, I know we
the
discussed.
7-story building that's getting redeveloped from,
there's that dying oak tree.
Like if it
so
enhances it.
there's Century, right here is Middleton Shores, there's some apartment buildings here.
yeah, that's where I'm talking about. Aren't they including
They have not indicated that. Their first phase is right here.
Okay,
And it's a 7-story building, but it's outside of the TIF district.
okay. All right, so that eliminates that from,
Did we discussed like putting it down the entrance, right? Like a little bit more into the creek corridor?
You mean into this section or into like the main part of the?
No, like
The
near
place where
here,
we were
like near
planning.
here, but just like down
Oh, yeah,
into
yeah,
it a
yeah.
little bit.
Okay, yes, we did.
If we did that, would we have to go through the DOT?
No.
and what about, is Parisi Park included in that TIF?
The tennis courts are. Yeah, pre-season included.
That might be a spot too,
I like that better.
'cause there's the
than-
trail goes right through there.
It gets a lot more traffic.
I like
Okay.
that a lot better than Greenberg.
Parisi, so the options are Parisi, we could do,
Do you wanna turn it around now
Trailhead.
so that Sebastian can see the TIF we're talking about?
Want me to
Here.
hold it for you, Andy?
Oh, yeah, let's see it.
I probably have this electronically too that I can dig up on our website.
yeah,
Oh, shoot.
I think
Oh,
we've
now
shared
it's
it
looking at
before.
you.
I'll talk, so hopefully it'll come over here. Okay, wait.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh, it's too big, I think.
Yeah,
You'll have to go to the
Okay,
website.
all right, I got it,
Yes,
I got it.
that's our TIF district map.
Great, 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 great.
I'll keep talking.
Okay. I do have a website.
that is a technology fail.
Yeah, that was big. That was a big fail. Sorry, Sebastian, my bad.
It's okay, it's all right. I'm not picky on this one. Don't worry about me.
We've
Well-
talked about it before too.
Is this crazy, but can we put out an RFQ without a location specified in it?
TBD,
Use your X.
I think it really helps to have a location
Okay,
booked and
We can't
specified and
they
reserved.
can be like in one of our local parks. I'm like really pulling my strings here. Okay,
okay,
so I really do want to move forward with this project and not delay it any longer because it's already delayed a year. And so we really need
well,
to
what do we think about?
use
Parisi
these
Park?
funds.
That, should we look there instead, since that's city owned?
They are getting ready to rebuild the shelter. They have a design contract with Sketchworks, the firm that Aaron Summers works for. In place to redesign and. rebuild
When's
the
that
shelter.
project slated?
Very soon. I think they're designing it this year. My guess is construction next year.
So maybe that would be a good idea to think about.
Yeah, we'd have to
Rather than
talk
Getting a new
to-
shelter, and again, the path goes right through there, so that's. I know it gets tons of traffic, cause I go over there sometimes.
Does, what's the Parks and Recs?
Kylie Scherer.
We would have to run that by her then, huh?
Mhm.
Cause she had issues with the Lakeview, I remember, with like the water.
Yeah,
But she did, I think, like the trailhead idea
Yes, she did.
down into the creek corridor more. So for this 2024 one, I mean, I still think we should find out about that from the DOT.
Mhm.
But should we rework this so that it's at a different location so that we can get this out?
is there any way to maybe nudge the DOT a little?
Yes, I can do that. I just remembered another idea. Which I'm pretty sure it's in TIF District 5. Yes, okay, so, or it's
Sorry,
probably,
Sebastian.
probably close
It's okay.
enough. Which is that, so Lake Street right now. At the end of the lake, there's a boat launch currently, but that's being removed, the motorized boat launch. And it's getting redeveloped into like a little bit of a lakefront park.
Oh, cool.
And Mayor Kuhn, I mean, it'll be very small because we only have 66 feet, I think, of right of way. And so eventually the right of way would be vacated and that would be carved off as a separate parcel and it would be dedicated parkland. But Mayor Kuhn had suggested what I thought was a very, very cool idea, that, now I'm gonna forget the name, but it was an artist you recommended originally. Truman is the first name because that's also my son's name, so I remember that, but I can't remember his
I
last
don't
name.
know that it was mine.
Yes, it was. I'm pretty sure that you recommended him. And then Mayor Kuhn,
Was it the bird?
maybe, and I have a book about him right now in my office.
Is
But
it
there's.
Truman Lowe?
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Truman
okay.
Lowe,
Tru-
who has an indigenous artist who has
He,
done
I
work
think
on Buda.
he's passed away, but his son is still a sculptor, Cloris Lowe.
Okay,
You might want to double check that, but I'm pretty sure Truman Lowe is it has passed away like
Yeah, Wikipedia
well,
has him in past tense.
okay. But I'm pretty sure that she mentioned him or as an example, or having putting an RFP out to try to hire an indigenous artist to do something related to the lakefront being there and the history of Middleton.
And I talked to the mayor about this as well when we were discussing art projects coming up. And this project that you're talking about, Abby, is in the future. And so what I had suggested was maybe we continue on with this one, finish this one, follow through, and then we have more TIF money coming in this district.
Yes.
And then using that as a future location, but I'm all about that idea. I love that idea.
And I completely agree with you, Michelle, and I talked with Kylie about it and she had that same thought that like, we need to like design this and get this part done, but we will make sure that there's space available for something to be done in the future. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
So for the Parisi Park, that is happening this year. It will be finished
I
this
think we
Um,
should consider that.
Parisi, I know they're designing it this year, but I don't know if they're constructing it. I can quickly pull up our budget, see.
I'd hate for something to get installed and then it be in the way of construction vehicles.
I know, I feel like maybe the trailhead is the best
Let's,
option.
let's.
But by the
press on
time
with
we
For this
get
round.
the RFQs out and we get an artist hired and we get them slated to put it in, how long is it gonna be? I mean, it takes a while to get that whole process completed. How long do you think, Sebastian, from
5 months.
start to construction?
So from we need to like from publishing the RFQ to hiring the artist.
To the point of construction of the piece,
Starting or finishing construction of the piece.
just getting it started, so we
Um,
have an idea of how it would coincide with this other project.
I would say 4 months would be the quickest I've seen of like releasing the RFQ, collecting applications, reviewing applications, and then filtering and interviewing, and then to contracting at the soonest I've seen is 4 months. That's might be even a little rushing it.
Mhm.
My question about the Parisi Park possible option is, are they redoing any concrete there or pouring any concrete? Because if they were and we got in contact with them before they finished the design and said we're considering this for a public art site, we might be able to do a lot of the more costly or onerous work, which is like the concrete structural stuff and making a sculpture pad before we could take care of that part when they do their construction, and then slate the sculpture for after they finish and have the pad already done, have more budget left over for the sculpture itself. This is just something to consider.
That's a
I
great
think
idea.
that's a great idea.
And they would be pouring concrete because I think that they're changing the footprint of the current shelter, so they wouldn't reuse the existing foundation. And I also told you wrong because it is appearing in our approved budget for 2024, 900,000. So I assume that means they're constructing the shelter in 2024.
Okay. Could you set up a meeting
With
with
Kylie?
Kylie, and then I think we should have better,
Who should be in on
Information.
that?
maybe me and Sebastian. Are you
Okay.
cool with that, Sebastian?
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't remember who else was on this. Were you on this, Katie? But you're already so busy.
On the, yeah, I was on that.
Do you want to
working
be
group.
in that meeting or no?
No.
With Kylie.
Okay. So yeah, we can't really do the dates in here. We can't do the location. So yeah, I think we kind of have to wait. I would like to get this out.
Well, once you meet with Kylie, then you'll be able to determine if Creasy Park is a good location. And then I think that that is the most feasible plan for this project. I do love the idea of Parmenter Street, and we can continue to pursue that and get the approval from the DOT as well, and, you know, still do that as a future project. I don't think we need to totally abandon it, but we really need to get moving on this.
Mhm.
So, all right, so do you have any other questions or comments or anything about the RFQ? No? All right.
So follow-up is just to set up the meeting with Kylie, Meg and Sebastian to talk about Precy.
Yeah, I think we could
Sure.
also discuss the trailhead too as a secondary option.
Okay, and then ping the DOT, of course.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay,
I pull your agenda back up.
so
This is what happens when you miss a meeting.
pop-up art is our next item,
Okay, so.
and that is Elizabeth.
Okay, so for pop-up arts, last year I joined in the summer and I helped out with the August pop-up art events. I did come down to the Stone Horse Green. I know Meg took one over because remember it was raining and so I think that the Stone Horse Green ones were really lovely because they were outside. It was laid back atmosphere. I think we should definitely continue to do them and coincide with that. So I guess it would just be as we get closer to summer, we start nailing down when we're gonna have a music performance, do a pop-up art event. I think we should definitely do that. I'm happy with the August ones because it's kind of right before kids are going back to school. So I feel like people are coming back from summer vacations. They've been gone all summer and I feel like a couple pop-up art events are lovely. I live in that area. I can do them at the Lakeview Park indoor shelter. So like that's easy for me. So I'm happy to plan more if you guys agree that's a good idea. I also helped with the hunting for pumpkins and the candy cane hunt. And I think that those were awesome because you've already got the space being utilized by families who are coming out. And so it was a lot of traffic and it was fantastic. Like everybody was in a good mood. We made lots of art. So I think we should piggyback on as many big events like that because that brings in a large crowd. And I also don't know if it's worth doing so much in the colder months. I feel like people are more out and about at the parks in the summer. So I was just gonna ask your opinion. I feel like I think there was some sort of Easter egg thing last year, but I don't know how well attended it was. That's kind of where I'm thinking maybe not a time to do a pop-up art event. I'm thinking maybe we do it more with the summer stuff.
Yeah, and I
That's
think,
my
you know, in addition to Stone Horse Green and these events with Parks and Rec, Erin was also doing like whenever kids had a day off from school, she would do some kind of programming.
Oh, okay.
Kylie and Parks and Rec. So I don't know if you want to continue that or if Erin's gonna keep working on that, but that's just something else to consider. But
I feel like you might want the day off too, when it's a day off of school.
yeah, it's true.
I have 3 kids. So the other thing I was like, oh, I love how the library does these pop-up events at the park. I don't know if they would want us to coincide with them sometime. I don't know if you guys would think that would be a good idea, but I mean, they're already coming and bringing the books and stuff, and then we could do an art project nearby. But I'd have to ask them if they would like that.
The library was at Capital Flight last year too, and Capital Flights, they have a couple of big events, and so that might be a place that we consider.
Is that at the airport?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like the kids get to come see the
there's
airplane?
there were tons of kids, I can't remember, it was some fly-in thing
Rock the
and I
ramp
went
or
to.
whatever.
Rock the Ramp.
Rock the Ramp, yes. Thank you for jogging my memory.
This year it is
Um,
July 9th.
Anyway, there were a ton of kids there. And they have live music, they have food trucks, they have people come, fly their airplanes in and, you can go up and check them out. They have a beer tent, but
They
it's,
have some face painting there too,
yeah,
so they're totally into the kids' stuff.
yeah, so that might be something to consider.
Contact person there is Matt Hofelt,
Yep,
Hoefeldt.
yep.
Okay. And
I
then
have his email. I can, I think I have his email. I can forward it to you, or Abby probably has it.
I guess I kind of need to know
Hmm.
budget for materials and things like that, which maybe Erin just has.
Well, I don't think we've set the 2024 budget, so
No.
that is action you could take this evening if you wanna establish the budget.
Let's discuss it tonight and then
We did.
vote on it next week, the
Okay.
amount.
Next month.
Why don't you give us a ballpark of what you think you would need? Erin would give us kind of a ballpark of how much she thought that she would need.
It's
Um,
usually like.
Not right now.
I
You
was like, I don't know right now.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
before our next meeting.
Okay.
Or at our next
okay,
meeting.
great.
I wanna say, isn't it around 700?
I thought it was 5 or 7, I can't remember.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
It should be in our budget information though.
Yes, I can find it
Okay.
for you, and
So
the other thing that just you might want to do is just send me what you need if it's a link, and then I can buy it with my city card instead of having to go through our reimbursement.
I recommend that.
Yes.
Okay, okay, so supplies.
And so I think we also do have supplies, like we do have some art supplies, so you might want to go through those, and see.
I think Aaron's.
Aaron's probably got them all
Yeah,
at our house.
Aaron probably has those, so. You'll want to see what we have and then kind of, I think what she was doing, some of them were pre-made. Projects and some of them were not. I think it was kind of a mix, and so, we can. Yeah. Do however you want.
I know
Your
for-
card, you can do whatever you want.
Sounds good. The big events, I know we were doing the things where they could have take home bags. 'Cause
Right.
People are like
Yeah,
kind of moving through quickly and
Yeah.
you don't know how much time they have to spend. So some stayed and made them and it was awesome. And some were like, oh, we're in a hurry. And so
that might be what we would do if we did something at Rock the Ramp too, because there's a
Yeah.
lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you have pretty much free reign to plan it how you like, Elizabeth, and then, kind of tell us what you think the budget will be at the next meeting and we can talk about that.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No.
All right, well, thank you for heading that up.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. Special events, Jolene is not here, so we can skip over that until next month. Maintenance of the collection, did you have any updates on that, Abby?
I do not.
One of the things I was thinking when I was looking at the packet tonight was if we were to seal this and put the coating on it, would it prevent, can we coat the back to prevent the leaching from the building? Of the salts, isn't that what the problem is the salt from the building?
Yes.
But then we would have to take the whole thing down.
Yeah, that seems.
And will they have to take the whole thing down anyway when they work on it?
Not that I got the sense of.
I don't know if they could take it down and not damage it, cause it's glued on there. And I also am not sure, I mean, I don't know if it's the actual concrete that's leaching or if it's the wood, the weathered wood that's out there.
Mm.
It might be both. Just gonna pull it up on.
Well, my thought was just if we could get to the back side of it to seal it, then maybe that would stop, but if we can't take it down, then that probably won't work.
Yeah, because this is just like a platform and then the salt is just thrown, like the whole building is just full of piles and piles of salt. So my guess is it's leaching from
Running down.
wood as well. Have you been over there and seen inside
Uh-uh.
there? It's been a while.
Yeah, it looks like you can almost even see where it's running down. Well, anyway, that was just my thought that maybe if we could seal the back, we could slow that, but
I could certainly ask Donna what they think about
all right, well, if you would ask about that and then we'll discuss it again when we have some date. Let's see, where are we at? Donor box and funding options. So we talked about a new option for payment and for donations. The Giving Tuesday promotion, I don't know if we talked about, no, we did not talk about this because it happened in December. So there was a problem with the payment system, and so we could not accept donations. And so
via the, what was that service we were using called?
I can't
So-
remember, it's the one Parks and Rec uses.
Yeah, there was, so the donor box page has to be linked to one of two types of accounts. One is PayPal. The other, I think, is called Square.
Square.
So what we did is, because we can only have one donor box account per bank account, we had to use the Parks and Rec Department's donor box account. But then when we went, no, hold on. Get this right. Okay, no, we set up our own donor box page, but because we only can link one bank account to a Square account, we used their Square page, which was functional for a period of time, but then donor box kicked it out because they realized that there was two separate donor boxes linked to one Square account.
Right.
So then what we did is, instead of linking to the donor box page, we instead set up that bill pay or fee pay
Right.
system that our city clerk set up for us as a link. And instead of going to a donor box page, it just went directly to a donation page for fee pay, which again, not the most like glam website to use, but we linked to that and we only received one donation. But it was from our mayor.
Yeah.
So thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
That was very
Um,
nice, yes.
So, yes. So that's a work in progress. That's the bottom line with that. So we will continue to work on that. Update on Metro bus shelters. When the mayor and I were talking about art projects, we were discussing this as well, and the length of time that we've been working on this project and how we're really looking forward to it coming to fruition. And one of the things that we discussed was possibly having like a little art opening party or a little unveiling party. And so that's something that we might think about budgeting in for when we get these installed. And when might we expect that, Abby?
Not anytime soon because it's pretty cold outside. So hopefully this spring when the weather.
Are we first on their list in the spring?
I don't know, but they're usually pretty, I mean, they're very good at getting things done for us quickly, so I can check in and see.
How would you do a party when they're all like spread out?
We'd have to pick one. Maybe we pick the one that's by Lakeview Park. And because the Lakeview Park is right there and we could like have a little gathering and dedicate maybe we can have the mayor do some kind of dedication or proclamation or
Yeah.
something.
We will have a few in proximity that we could walk to on Ellen Boulevard if you wanted.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because we'll have two like right across the street from each other, like around the harbor area, I think.
Yeah,
Both of those are getting art, if I remember right. So, and
Yeah.
Emily would like to do that because that's her former district
it
in
is.
her neighborhood, so.
Yeah, so that's just something to think about once we get to that point. Hopefully that'll be in the spring.
Cool.
Okay, so Youth Center Art Project, let's all give Elizabeth a little round of applause for last minute taking our art center project. We had a cancellation and she picked that up for us, so I appreciate that. I just sent an email to Artworking today to remind them of their next 2 sessions, which are February and March. And then we have Julia doing cartooning for the last 2. And so we are halfway through about and rolling along.
Because of the emergency, I contacted a couple of my neighbors who are artists, one a potter and one a painter, and they both were like, oh, hey, I would do that for you sometime. So Potter needed like a 4-part thing so that kids could throw something and then go in the kiln, etc. So I've got a couple of artists for next year, whenever you need them.
Send their contact info to me, and when I usually start working on those in the summertime. And
Great.
like right after Art Walk, because I like kind of try to get some artists from Art Walk to participate, and we've had interest from artists from Art Walk as well, and we had some this year, but.
Great, okay.
So,
I'll do
yes, send those on to me and I will add them to my list.
that. All right, one of them will be showing at Art Walk, so.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
All
That
right.
pottery, they did pottery one other time, didn't they, with
They did,
Theme.
yeah, and we didn't, they did hand building because it's only an hour long class and they made these cute little boxes. And they made some of the boxes like they had hinges, like they had made hinges or straps out of clay that looked like hinges and straps. They turned out really cool. And it was, I'm sorry, Meg, refresh my memory.
Chris Laughlin.
Yeah, yeah. Chris Hoffenberg. And it was great. The students loved it. It was one of the favorites last year. So, so yes, a Potter is great. The kids are really engaged with that.
Great.
And I don't know, how many kids did you have?
About 10.
10, yeah. And 10 to 12 is about average.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Nice.
It was pen and ink techniques, so doing cross hatching, just, experimenting with how to shade and.
Oh, very cool. I want to take
I
that
would
class.
love
Why
to
wasn't
do
I
that.
invited?
I know.
Should we start doing adult art classes too? Put another thing on our plate?
Oh my gosh, that would be fun, but as
Okay.
long as we can pay the artist for teaching it.
Yes, yes. So, anything anybody wants to add about Youth Center Art? No, all right. Website and social media. I asked Abby to put this on here because we have been discussing the Arts Committee having its own page and its own social media. One of the things that came up in our discussion was who would manage that page and that and the social media. And so if anyone is interested in doing that, then let me know. I was hoping that Jolene would be here and say, yes, I want to do that. So anyway, we're kind of looking to
In the meantime, can we use Brent?
Yes. Brent is our communications person.
we have through the city, we have these things, but we're talking about having separate website and separate social media that we can manage ourselves. But yes, at this point, that is falling
I
on
was getting
the
the
city.
sense from either Brian or somebody that they weren't really keen on that.
It is generally frowned upon. I've been here a long time, like, I've had a lot of committees do this. And it becomes a very big challenge to maintain. And what usually ends up happening, like the Workforce Housing Committee, for example, they had their own Facebook and then it became defunct. And a committee member had the information to log in and nobody from the city knew how to get to it. We were getting complaints from the public because the page was outdated. I think if now that we have a communications person, his advice would generally be to try to consolidate city things as much as possible. the Parks and Rec Department does have their own page. They have their own Facebook. Police Department has their own Facebook.
Senior center.
Senior Center, but they very rarely update it. And then the library, but the library one is pretty active because they have like 4 or 5 staff members.
And this is why I think too, it's important that we have someone designated that would take this on. And most certainly, we would be sharing all of our information with the city. So in the event that something happened and that person was no longer on board, we would not be in that situation again where nobody knows the password, and we want to make sure we safeguard against all those things. So let's talk about that again next time. If that's okay with everybody. All right, so I don't need a motion to adjourn.
No.
You can just declare it. We need to get you a gavel.
We're adjourned for the agenda.
That's right.
Thank you.
For next meeting, I think we should probably add on the stuff that we talked about last night, because we kind of had to discuss it as a committee.
That's right.
So it'd be like I don't even know what you want to call it.
There was a meeting of all the committee chairs last night
Practices.
and like best practices.
Yeah, best practices of committee members. I just didn't have enough time to tell you before the meeting.
Don't tell city staff. Don't add to their job. Don't
Oh,
tell them
yeah.
how to do their job
Yes,
and how to email.
we can't we can't tell you guys what to do. That's what they said. That's not our,
Emily said.
that's not our role. and
No, that's what
responsibility.
Brian said.
Oh,
So I got this was the second place winner. This was also the lighter gray. Or was it the darker gray? Which one did you like?
The lighter gray.
I did too. It's
Lighter gray?
Which one do you like, Abby?
Okay.
Yeah, just not in terms of color, just in terms.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
the feel.
That
Feel
was-
of
yeah.
the lighter gray.
But I would like to get some gray t-shirts too, or some black ones, because I never buy white because I always look like myself.
Oh, yeah.
I like the darker too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always make a mess.
But when it's super hot outside, you don't want to be wearing black.
Yeah.
But May is
True, like
fine.
gray.
May is.
Yeah.
I think
Did you
the
miss your
broad on
yoga
black would be
class?
awesome.
No, I'm on my way.
Is it at 7?
It starts at 7.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Oh, perfect timing. See you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I sent you an invite on Zoom.
Thank you. Okay.
It's coming from Katie and the pups at Yahoo because that's where my Zoom is.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Have fun at yoga.
You haven't changed it.
See you, Sebastian. Thank you.
DJ.
Bye, everyone. Have a good
Hi,
night. See you
DJ
later.
Bubblicious.
Delicious.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sebastian.
Bye, Sebastian.
Yeah,
Thanks.
bye. See you later, guys.